Have you ever opened your eyes in the morning, hoping today will feel different, lighter, easier, only to sit up and feel that same stubborn tiredness weighing you down? You might tell yourself it is just part of aging. Maybe your doctor said it was normal. But deep down, you know something is off. This is not just ordinary fatigue. It is something more persistent, more frustrating, and often more preventable than you think. If you are over 70 and feel tired all the time, even after a full night's rest, you are not alone. Many seniors struggle with low energy, but very few understand why. The truth is, there are daily habits most people overlook, simple choices made morning, noon, and night that quietly drain energy day after day. And once they build up, they can steal the joy, sharpness, and spark that make life worth living. The good news? You can get it back. Not with pills or expensive routines, but by removing just a few silent culprits that are sapping your strength. In this video, we will uncover the 5 most common daily energy drains and what you can do instead to feel awake, present, and truly alive again. Stay with me until the very end, because the 5th energy drain is one that surprises nearly everyone, and fixing it could completely transform how you feel. If you find these insights helpful, please hit the like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps more seniors reclaim their energy and live with purpose again. Point 1. The slow start morning routine. Ruth had always loved quiet mornings. At 73, she cherished the stillness, the gentle silence of her home, the soft clink of her teacup against the saucer. She would wake around 7:30, stay in bed for a while, scrolling through the news on her tablet, and then slowly move into her day. No rush, no pressure. It felt peaceful. It felt earned. But lately, that peace had been clouded by something she could not quite explain. No matter how long she slept, Ruth felt tired. Not just tired, foggy, heavy, like she was wading through water. Even her beloved garden, once a source of energy, began to feel like a chore. Her doctor ran the usual test: thyroid, iron, vitamin levels. Everything looked fine. So why, she wondered, did she feel so drained? It is a feeling many older adults know well, that quiet kind of fatigue that creeps in and settles, and often we assume it is just part of aging. But here is the surprising truth. The way we begin our mornings can either restore our energy or quietly steal it away. You see, after 70, our bodies respond differently to stillness. Hormones that once surged in the morning now rise more slowly. Metabolism eases into the day. And unless we gently nudge our systems awake, they can stay stuck in that slow, low-energy mode. What feels like restful routine, lounging in bed, staying in the dim indoors, delaying breakfast, might actually be keeping the body in a kind of sleep limbo. The day has started, but your biology has not gotten the message. This was exactly what was happening to Ruth. Her peaceful start was, unknowingly, setting the tone for fatigue. When Ruth learned about this, she decided to try a few small changes, not a complete overhaul, just little shifts. First, she began sitting up in bed as soon as she woke, opening the curtains to let the light in. Some mornings, she would even step outside for 5 minutes, bundled up if needed, just to feel the fresh air on her face. Then, instead of waiting until mid-morning to eat, she started her day with a small bowl of Greek yogurt and berries, or a piece of toast with peanut butter, something with protein to give her body fuel. And while the kettle boiled, she did a few gentle stretches, raising her arms overhead, circling her shoulders, taking a few deep breaths. It took only a week to feel a difference. Her mind cleared faster, her body felt more responsive, and most of all, that weight so hard to describe but so deeply felt began to lift. We often think of energy as something we either have or do not. But the truth is, it is something we create. And one of the most powerful moments to create it is right after we wake. Sunlight tells your brain it is time to be alert. Movement wakes the muscles and boosts circulation. Nourishment stabilizes your blood sugar so you are not crashing before noon. These things do not take much time, but they send a powerful message to your body. We are alive, we are ready, we are starting fresh. If you find yourself waking up already, feeling behind, already tired before the day has even begun, might be time to look at how your mornings begin. Because after 70, energy is no longer something you can borrow from a busy schedule. It is something you protect, gently and deliberately, from the moment you open your eyes. Like Ruth, you might find that the smallest morning shift leads to the biggest change, not just in how you feel, but in how much of life you are able to enjoy. Point 2. The silent sugar trap. Most seniors try their best to eat better as they get older. The heavy breakfasts of youth bacon, biscuits, and greasy potato sare often replaced by what feels like a smarter choice. A bowl of low-fat yogurt, maybe some granola, a banana, or a splash of juice. It feels light, clean, healthy. But here is something surprising. Many of these choices, especially when eaten alone, are packed with hidden sugars. And for older adults, that sugar is not just unhelpful, it is quietly exhausting. Harold, a 76-year-old retired engineer, was doing everything right, or so he thought. He had swapped out his old morning habits in favor of a heart-healthy breakfast. Every day he ate a bowl of yogurt topped with granola, a banana on the side, and a small glass of orange juice. It felt like the kind of meal his doctor would be proud of. And for a while, it seemed fine. But every morning, just a couple of hours after breakfast, Harold hit a wall. He would feel shaky, lightheaded. His eyes would blur while reading the paper, and he often had to sit back in his recliner to rest. By 10 a.m., he felt like he had already run a marathon. His energy disappeared. His thoughts felt dull. He blamed age. What Harold did not realize was that his breakfast, though marketed as healthy, was setting him up for an energy crash. After 70, your body does not handle sugar the same way it once did. Blood sugar regulation becomes more sensitive, and large spikes in glucose, especially in the morning, can cause dramatic crashes soon after. Foods like flavored yogurt, granola, fruit juices, and even some cereals create a quick burst of energy, but that energy burns fast. And what comes next is a dip so steep, it can leave you feeling weak, foggy, and even anxious. This kind of crash is not about willpower or motivation, it is about biology. As we age, our insulin response slows. Our cells are not as quick to absorb glucose. That means sugar lingers longer in the bloodstream, only to drop just as suddenly. It is a roller coaster, and unfortunately, many seniors are riding it every morning without even knowing. Once Harold learned this, he was stunned. He had no idea that his breakfast, which seemed so innocent, was the root of his daily slump. So he made a few small changes. He swapped the flavored yogurt for plain Greek yogurt and added a handful of walnuts. Instead of granola, he tried a few slices of apple or berries. He replaced the orange juice with water infused with lemon. And on days when he needed something extra, he included a hard-boiled egg or half an avocado for steady fuel. Within days, the crashes stopped. His energy no longer disappeared mid-morning. He felt steadier, clearer, and more in control. And for the first time in months, he could make it through the day without needing an early nap. It was not that Harold lacked energy. He was simply eating the wrong fuel. Many seniors blame themselves for their tiredness. They think it is just aging. But often, the body is simply asking for balance, for steadier sources of energy that burn slowly and last longer. Protein, fiber, and healthy fats, these are the building blocks of stable energy, especially after 70. So if you feel fine when you wake up but crash soon after breakfast, take a closer look at what you are eating. It may not be about eating less or more, but eating smarter. That light, sugary meal may be giving you a spark and then stealing your flame before the day even begins. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply fueling your body in a way it no longer understands. The good news is, with a few mindful swaps, you can take back your morning sand, reclaim the strength that is already inside you. Point 3. Unmoving hours that drain your vitality. Joan used to be a whirlwind. At 78, she had raised 4 children, run a busy household, and volunteered at her church every weekend. But over the last couple of years, her pace had slowed. Not because of illness or injury, just because life had shifted. She now spent most of her days at home. Mornings started in her recliner, sipping tea and reading the newspaper. Afternoons often meant long stretches on the couch with a book or television. She still got up to make meals or water her plants, but her days were quiet, still, and mostly spent sitting. At first, she welcomed the calm, but slowly, something changed. Her legs began to feel heavier. She felt more tired than she expected, even though she was resting all the time. Her thoughts felt cloudy, and by evening, she sometimes felt as drained as if she had spent the day running errands, not relaxing at home. What Joan did not realize was that her stillness, though comforting, was quietly draining her energy. After 70, rest is important, but too much rest can be a hidden problem. Our bodies are not built to sit still for hours at a time. When we stop moving, our circulation slows, our muscles weaken, our joints stiffen, and our metabolism, which already begins to slow with age, shifts down even further. That can lead to fatigue, brain fog, and a feeling of heaviness that does not go away with more rest. Movement is not just for fitness, it is how the body maintains energy. Even gentle movement sends signals to the brain and body that we are alive, engaged, and functioning. And without it, our systems start to dim one by one. Joan's doctor explained it to her like this: "It is not that you are doing too much, it is that you are doing too little for too long without realizing it." She was shocked. She thought rest would help her feel better, but she had been resting into fatigue. So she made a promise to herself. Nothing dramatic, just one small change. She would move every hour, even if it was just walking to the kitchen and back or standing to stretch while the kettle boiled. She set a timer on her phone. Every hour, she stood up and gently moved her body. At first, it felt strange, but within a week, something shifted. Her legs felt more awake. Her thoughts sharpened. She started staying up a little later at night and waking up feeling lighter. What she discovered is what many seniors never get told. Energy is made through motion, and you do not need a gym or fancy routines. All you need is consistency. If you find yourself spending hours in the same chair, it might be time to rethink what rest really means. Stillness may feel like recovery, but over time, it can become a slow decline. Your body needs movement, not punishment, not exhaustion, just movement. You can start small. Stand up during commercials. Walk the length of your hallway. Do ankle rolls or shoulder circles while you read. Stretch your arms above your head every hour. These little motions spark circulation, wake up sleepy muscles, and help oxygen flow to the brain. The most important part is not how much you move it, is how often. A short stretch every hour does far more good than a long workout once a week. Joan did not become an athlete. She simply became aware. Aware that every hour of stillness needed to be interrupted, gently, by motion. And that awareness gave her something precious, not just more energy, but more of herself. So if your body feels like it is slowing down and you are tired without knowing why, it might not be age catching up, it might be time sitting too long without permission. And the solution could be as simple as standing up. Point 4. Emotional weight you do not realize you carry. Charles had always been known for his steady hands and even steadier spirit. At 80, he was the one people came to for calm advice, the one who handled life's ups and downs with quiet strength. But lately, something had shifted. He could not explain the tiredness. It was not the kind of exhaustion that comes from staying up too late or doing too much. It was deeper. Like a weight pressing gently on his chest, slowing his thoughts and draining his energy one quiet moment at a time. He still slept through the night. He still ate well and walked his neighborhood loop most mornings. But by the afternoon, he found himself staring out the window, more drained than the day seemed to warrant. What Charles could not see but was beginning to feel was the toll of emotional weight. For many older adults, energy loss is not just physical, it is emotional. It builds silently over time, grief that was never fully processed, regrets tucked away, loneliness that arrives not loudly but slowly, like fog. The heart becomes heavy before the body ever does, and that heaviness spreads. After 70, our nervous systems become more sensitive. Stress lingers longer. Sadness settles more deeply. And unlike physical pain, emotional burdens are harder to name, so they stay unspoken, tucked inside like stones in a pocket. Over time, they affect how we breathe, how we sleep, how we move. They chip away at our energy without ever making a sound. For Charles, it all came to light during a visit to his doctor. His blood work was fine, no signs of depression, but something in his posture, in the distant look in his eyes, made his doctor pause. She asked one simple question: "Is there anything you feel you are holding on to?" That evening, Charles sat with her words. He began to write. Nothing fancy, Just a few sentences about his wife, who had passed 6 years earlier, about how he missed her, still, every night, about how he never quite said goodbye, about the fear he sometimes felt now, being the last one of his group still living in their homes, about the guilt he felt when he said no to his children, and the silence he felt in the space they left behind. And as he wrote, something happened. The weight began to move, not disappear, but move. Sometimes the most exhausting thing we carry is the pain we have taught ourselves to ignore, and energy does not return until we make space for healing. Charles began a quiet ritual. Each morning, after breakfast, he sat at his kitchen table and wrote in a small notebook, one page, one emotion, one memory. He also started taking short walks, not for exercise, but for reflection. No phone, no distractions, just the rhythm of his steps and the rhythm of his thoughts. He reached out to an old friend. They talked for nearly an hour about things they had never said before. He started keeping a gratitude jar on his counter. Every evening he added one thing that had gone right, one small joy. Slowly his tiredness lifted. He began to feel lighter, not just in his body, but in his spirit. The naps he used to need, fewer and shorter. His thoughts felt clearer. He found himself smiling at strangers again, saying hello with intention, not out of habit. If you find yourself tired for reasons you cannot explain, pause. Look inward. Ask gently, what am I carrying that no one sees? You do not need to solve everything overnight, but naming the weight is the first step to letting it go. Because no matter your age, your energy is not just physical, it is emotional. And healing does not just restore peace, it restores power. The kind that lets you breathe deeper, walk stronger, and wake each morning knowing that your spirit too deserves to feel light. Point 5. Inconsistent sleep signals. Martha had always considered herself a good sleeper. In her younger years, she could close her eyes and be out within minutes. But somewhere in her 70s, things changed. Sleep became unpredictable. Some nights she drifted off without trouble, only to wake again at 3 a.m., staring at the ceiling for hours. Other nights, she could not fall asleep at all until past midnight, even when she was tired. At first, she shrugged it off. Just part of getting older, she told herself. But over time, the consequences added up. She started feeling sluggish in the mornings. Her thoughts felt cloudy. She forgot names more often. Her body ached more than it used to, and worst of all, she no longer felt like herself. Martha thought she was getting enough sleep. After all, she was in bed for 8 or even 9 hours. But what she did not realize was that her body was not receiving the clear, consistent sleep signals it needed. And that confusion was costing her energy every single day. As we age, our natural sleep rhythm source, circadian cycles, begin to shift. Hormones like melatonin decline. The body becomes more sensitive to environmental cues. And without a reliable pattern, the brain struggles to understand when it should rest and when it should be alert. Inconsistent bedtime routines, late naps, exposure to artificial light at night, or unpredictable meal times can all confuse this internal clock. And when the body is confused, sleep becomes fragmented. Even if you spend 8 hours in bed, the quality of rest may be poor light, interrupted, and far from restorative. That was exactly what was happening to Martha. She had fallen into a rhythm of watching television late into the night. She often napped in the afternoon when she felt tired, thinking it would help. She sometimes ate dinner as late as 9 p.m., depending on when her son called or when she remembered. To her, these things felt normal, but to her body, they were chaos. Her doctor gently explained that her body was not just tired, it was disoriented. Her sleep signals were mixed. Her brain was not getting the clear instructions it needed to enter deep, healing rest. So Martha made a commitment not to sleep more, but to sleep smarter. She began waking up and going to bed at the same time each day, even on weekends. She stopped napping unless she truly needed it, and if she did, she kept it under 30 minutes. She dimmed the lights in her home after sunset, switching off bright overhead bulbs and using a lamp in the evening. She stopped watching television in bed and instead read a few pages of a book before lights out. And she made it a point to eat dinner no later than 6:30 p.m., giving her body time to wind down. The change did not happen overnight, but within 2 weeks, Martha felt the difference. Her sleep became deeper. She stopped waking up so often in the night. She began dreaming again, something she had not realized she missed. Her mornings felt smoother, her mood was lighter, and for the first time in a long time, she felt rested. Sleep is not just about time in bed, it is about sending your body the right signals at the right time. Just like a conductor leads an orchestra, you must guide your internal rhythm with gentle, consistent cues. If you find yourself tossing and turning, waking up groggy, or dragging through the day despite enough sleep, consider this: your body may not be tired, it may be confused. Bring back rhythm. Create routine. Let your evenings whisper, "It is time to rest," and your mornings shine with light and purpose. Because after 70, sleep is not a luxury. It is one of the most powerful tools you have to restore energy, clarity, and peace. And the good news? You can claim it night by night, one steady signal at a time. As we grow older, it is easy to blame fatigue on age. But often, the real reasons are far quieter, found in the choices we repeat without thinking. The slow mornings, the sugar that sneaks in, the stillness that settles, the emotions we carry, and the sleep we never quite master. But here is the truth. Your energy is not gone. It is waiting for you to clear the way. And even the smallest changes can make a big difference. This is not about fighting age, it is about understanding it and giving your body the rhythm, fuel, movement, and peace it truly needs. If today's video gave you even one aha moment, please leave a comment below and tell us which energy drain surprised you most. Your voice might help someone else find clarity too. And if you found this helpful, be sure to like, subscribe, and share it with a friend who needs it. Together, we are building a wiser, stronger, more energized life one day at a time.